This week on Bean Stuff.
I wouldn't want to put that on my body.
We are taking Bean Stuff on the road. Someone had suggested that we do gas station coffee.
Like a dream come true. I'm getting some nice aroma there.
Got a little on my nose.
It's good, mate. You burn my nostrils. Yeah. My fingers are actually hurting. Like you don't really taste body because it's how thick it is in the tongue. It's just like licking the ashtray.
Extreme caffeine.
Fingers will probably melt to the cup. And I can tell because my taste buds are buzzing.
Welcome to
Bean Stuff.
Today we are taking Bean Stuff on the road.
Woo!
I had a dinner with a bunch of really awesome people, and someone had suggested that we do gas station coffee. So today that is exactly what we're doing. So we are going around to a couple different gas stations where we're at, and we're going to be doing tasting the coffee there, see what it's like. But
It's like a dream come true, mate.
I know it's very interesting to do this.
Always wanted to do this.
I know. You're always getting gas station.
Oh, I love it.
But we thought, how are we going to do this? And so what we're actually going to do is the first thing we're going to have is we made a Technovorm or a Mocha Master, which is a drip style coffee. And we figured it was pretty close to what we would expect to see from a gas station. So we made that at home. And what kind of coffee did we use, Dad?
I believe we used the Ethiopian Nasimbo Worker.
Sounds delicious.
It is. It's good coffee.
So we made a cup of that. And now what we're going to do, first thing is we're going to smell the coffee. And the second thing is we're gonna test the temperature, so you guys know kind of the temperature we're tasting these different coffees at. Mm-hmm. Then we are going to slurp the coffee, and then what we're gonna do is kind of rate it on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being the worst, 5 being the absolute best coffee.
Probably gonna be all 5.
Probably. So this will be kind of our look at, and this will be kind of like our control. So this will be hopefully a 5. Or
Well,
we'll
I'm not
see.
gonna no preconditions,
So,
mate.
Let's just get our noses in there.
I got smell. Yeah, it smells nice. You got to filter away the paper cup smell.
It is interesting.
First.
The cup B is a large.
Huge factor when you're drinking. I'm getting some nice aroma there.
I got a little on my nose.
It's good, mate. You're really into it.
Secret tip that I learned from you is sniff the back of your hand.
Did I say that? Do I?
I think so.
Quite possibly. I'm gonna sip it now.
Well, what are you smelling?
I got the fruitiness. I can smell that straight away.
Yeah, almost like a.
It's very. It's not intense. It's just a nice light sort of coffee.
It doesn't
aroma.
It doesn't punch you in the face. It's got a nice smooth smell to it. Now? Go ahead before
I can smell this has been lightly roasted, which is good. That was the intention.
Yeah, well, you probably roasted it.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead and test the temperature real quick before we slip that. What do we got right on this one?
We're up to 130 already. It's going up still. 135.
135, okay. It's still warm.
136, yeah. It seems to be stopping there.
So 136 is what we're tasting this one at. Okay. So you're going to hear some slurps as we kind of slurp it up.
If they listen to the cupping, when they know slurping is a good thing to do with
your
coffee.
It is a good thing, yeah. Let's go ahead and give it a little test here.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
That's nice.
It really kind of sits on your tongue.
And it's got this fruit-forward note. It's like it should be. It's got a sweet lemon note to it. Just sweet, though.
It's got a tanginess to it.
But not in a sort of way.
I would almost say it's got a lot of body to it.
It has, which has surprised me. I don't always think of this coffee as a large body, but I would call it a medium body in this.
Yeah, it's more body than I was expecting.
I'm tasting a good coffee flavors, though. I'm not tasting something other than what the coffee flavor is.
And it's very smooth. There's no spikes in different aspects. It's very... we were talking to Cole last week on the podcast, and she talked about a balanced cup. I would say this is a very balanced tasting cup.
It is. It's very nice. I would drink this all the way to work.
Yeah.
I would. It's nice.
Well,
I'm going to get another one at work.
Oh, yeah. Well, out of a scale of 1 to 5, what would you score this one at?
Now I'm going to sound biased, but I would give this a 5. This is good coffee. I'd be quite happy to pay for this.
Definitely tasty.
Yeah.
Definitely a tasty cup.
It's noticeable. It's what I like about a coffee.
Yeah. Well, so this is our bench or our control.
It's pretty high when the standard is 5, like the best.
No.
We go,
We've set the bar.
Yeah, where do you go from here?
So today we're going to go to a couple different gas stations. We're going to try out their coffees, see what they're like. And we are trying all of these coffees black, with no sugar, no anything. We're trying it just as...
Check the temperature again, so we're trying to do everything the same each time.
We're trying to keep it as the same as possible here. All right, off to the next one. So we just got some coffee from the Shell station here, and then we are doing the Porter Mills 100% Colombian coffee. They had espresso roast. They also had some other fancy stuff, but I went for the 100% Colombian because it was the only one that said what it was.
And Colombia is a good coffee. We cut some just yesterday at a caravan actually.
Yeah, and these are the smalls. So
this is small.
I know. I did not fill it 100% because I was a little worried.
Appreciate that.
So
should I do a temperature test first to see how hot it feels? Hot. You've got a.
I did put a little cozy on it.
It feels hot even with that on.
It's very hot. Let's go ahead and let's smell it first.
No, let's just take the
out of curiosity. Yeah.
I want to burn my nostrils. We're already up to 155.
Wow, and in comparison,
164.
when we did the coffee from home, it was 136 when we tasted it.
Yeah, and we're already at 168 here.
So we're 30 degrees, and this is Fahrenheit for anyone listening.
Oh, that's right.
It's not in Fahrenheit.
Well, I could change this to Celsius. It's 75.6 Celsius.
It was a warm day.
My fingers are actually hurting from holding this.
So number one, the first impression I have from Shell is that their coffee is really hot.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And it was from like a little pour, kind of like a carafe thing. So it was.
I think people complain if it was cold. I'd rather have it hot than cold because you're going to dry for a long time.
Well, and I think we maybe talked about it in our How Coffee Tastes episode, but we talked about how hot coffee can kind of like shield some of the bad flavors.
I think in this case it's just more the hot coffee is going to last longer in the car because it won't cool down as quickly.
So let's pop the tops here. Let's take a little nice whiff. It kind of smells like an ashtray.
Yeah, it's got.
What are you smelling?
Oh well, what I'm smelling, and I'm not surprised. I'm smelling more the roast than the actual bean. You said it was Colombia, and I was looking forward to that. But what I'm smelling, it's not Colombia. I'm smelling an over-roasted coffee, and that is taking precedence over the actual flavor of the coffee.
And we may have mentioned it in the past, but there's that, I think, like a pyramid. Along the bottom is all the different types of coffee, and the top is, if you were to burn it. And it's that as you burn things, they kind of all move towards a similar flavor. Yeah.
And for the ashtray, you're going to get that where you've got a Colombia, an Ethiopian, a Brazil. It's going to be ashtray-like.
All right, so go ahead and temp it again. See what it's going to be like when we taste it.
Probably good to take the lid off. It's leveling at 156 Fahrenheit or 69 Celsius.
So we've dropped a little bit in temperature, almost 10 degrees.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for it. Just take a very small slurp.
Don't want to burn stuff, otherwise...
The rest of this podcast is pretty broken after that.
If you burn yourself. Okay, interesting.
You know what?
It's not as ashtray as the Roma was.
No, it's... I will say this. Not as bad as I was expecting.
I think you'll be right.
And I don't want to turn off all of our listeners who appreciate really good coffee by saying this. It's not as bitter as I was expecting.
No, it's not as bitter. I think.
And I wonder if that's the heat.
It's the heat, and also I think you've gone for that espresso blend. If you had, it would have tasted more bitter. Really, the espresso. I'm thinking they're going to go darker.
You know what's interesting though?
Yes.
There's no aftertaste.
No, it just disappears.
Which makes me wonder if they didn't put quite enough coffee in. Like, what the extraction was like.
How they made the coffee then.
Because if you smell it, it does smell kind of like paper cup and water. Like, there's not a lot of there's not a lot of aroma.
You were saying,
and we'd kind of trapped it.
No, that's right. And you were talking about it's not as bitter, but then it's very mild.
There's almost no flavor.
Yeah, it's and therefore it's sort of like, this is fine, but it's really like hot water. Now we're going sort of the other way to saying the flavour is actually... The flavour... I actually can't distinguish too much of a flavour from this. I'm going to get fruity, nutty. I'm not getting that part of it.
I think if you didn't tell me it was coffee, I think I'd be still able to tell it was coffee, but there's almost no hint of coffee flavor.
No, it's like watered down coffee.
I would say this. It feels like it does have a decent amount of body.
Actually, there is some body there. There's no acidity to it at all. There's not giving any life, any wow.
That's the one I'm surprised about. No acidity.
Well, when you get dark, you're gonna the acidity's gonna drop down.
I guess I'm more surprised there's no bitterness, but I think like we had kind of mentioned that might be due to the extraction of
And
it.
yeah, I'm thinking it's not as dark, and that's why they probably have different espresso Columbia, as you said. But I think this is the mild one.
Yeah. Well, all right. So we've kind of. There's not much to talk about with it. It's just kind of a hot liquid.
Yeah, the flavour I can't really get. There has got some body, but I think that's because it's just the roast rather than the bean itself.
So on a scale of 1 to 5, where would you put this?
Okay, 5 for our one, and this one here, I'm going to give this.
And I guess we should preface the scale.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily 5 is like this is the best coffee we've ever had. That's
exactly.
Just on the what we're tasting compared to our home coffee. What is this like?
Yeah, I'd say this is 2.5.
I was going to go 2.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
I would say though, I could drink this if I had to.
Yes, which is if you're on a long trip somewhere, this would do it. This would keep you awake.
And I think if you put milk in this, like if you put just a little bit of milk,
it'd be interesting what that
it would
do.
almost just taste like a milky hot.
Yeah, because it's so mild.
Because there's no acidity that the milk would take out. You know, like there's not much it would.
It would make it like a mild hot water almost. Oh, I was
not as bad as I was expecting.
Yeah, I agree.
So Shell, you got a 2 from him.
I would say 2.5. Come on.
And you got a 2 from me. So now we're at a Texaco. We're actually just outside of a Texaco. I had an interesting experience. So I went in and I wanted to see what kind of coffee they had. Right. So they had a Kona coffee. It was a light roast.
Kona, I thought, Hawaii.
Light roast. That sounds like a good idea. You know, try and get some of the flavors like we just talked about at Shell. How it was, tastes a little dark roasted. Sounds like perfect. Put the cup under. Nothing came out.
Oh.
So there was nothing in there. So I was like, okay, what else do we have? The only other one they had was called Extreme Caffeine.
Whoa, we got extreme caffeine going on here.
So we've got the extreme caffeine, which if you looked at our episode on decaf, I'm not sure what they mean by extreme caffeine, but
yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting for sure. So went to Texaco, got these. They're in these like little nice white cups, very plain, very simple. And the other thing I noticed is the temperature was very...
Yeah.
What is the temperature?
Well, you handed me the cup and I says, have you got any coffee in here? Because I'm looking at what it says here and it says 34 degrees Celsius or 93 Fahrenheit. I mean...
It doesn't even feel that hot.
It's almost room temperature.
It is almost room temperature. Well, and it's very not warm. And it's funny, I realized that's an interesting piece about gas station coffee. Is you don't have control over the variables.
No.
Whereas if you go to like a coffee shop or you make it at home, typically those places are going to be working to keep your coffee, like they're always doing fresh coffee, or they should be, and that kind of thing. So their coffee is always going to be hot. It's what they're focused on. But gas stations are not going to be focused on.
No, whatever. Oh, it's empty? Okay, we should fill it up.
So this could be really old coffee.
It could be all sorts of things.
So let's go ahead and give it the old sniff.
Ooh. Could I the Shell one we did before, could I give that a new score? Because this one...
Yeah. I'm afraid I also scored Shell too low.
I would say, this is not actually in the coffee wheel, but this almost tastes like burnt plastic.
Yeah, it does. Almost smells like if you like... It almost tastes like if you had a hair iron and you just left it in your hair and it started burning your hair.
Yeah, burnt hair. That doesn't sound just lovely.
Just back
it is very cold, so I don't think we need to worry about the slurping temperature.
Well, let's just check it one more time because it just lit off.
Well, can you make it go up?
Well, I was going to say one thing is when we have that lid on and we take it off, it does trap some of the aroma.
It does.
So it's helpful.
That's why I smelled the burnt.
Yeah.
Plastic, right? We're at 92 Fahrenheit here, or 33. We've gone down to 33 Celsius now.
All right, well, let's give it a little taste here.
Okay. Sorry, mate.
That is disgusting.
It's one of the most disgusting coffees I've ever had.
It tastes a little bit like melted plastic pellets.
Oh, is there anything worse?
Infused with burnt charcoal.
Yeah. It's just like licking the ashtray, not just the smell ashtray. You open it up and you lick it with your tongue. And
it's like going to a dive bar and licking the ashtrays there.
Oh, and it's so cold. It's absolutely hopeless. I'm sorry, Texaco. I'm sure there's other Texacos that are really good, But this one, oh.
And again, that's the other thing is
I don't want to eat any more of that.
No, I don't either. But the variables, even at Shell, tomorrow there gets there, it could be
really good, really bad.
Could be bad or be good. But so far Texaco. No.
I mean, if you looked at what we looked at Shell, our first one, body, acidity. I can't even really take. Well, you don't really taste body because it's how thick it is in the tongue. It's got some, but that's possibly the only good thing I could say about that. I wouldn't want to put that on my body.
I know. I think we're gonna have to go to another gas station.
Yeah, but what's the point you're gonna give that? You gave Shell, you gave it 2. What are you gonna give that? I know what I'm gonna give mine.
1.
Really?
Well, that's the bottom of the scale.
No, it's not.
0?
-4.
Oh.
Sorry, mate. 0. I don't know what to say, but
it is the bottom of the barrel so far.
It was cold.
Very cold.
It was old. It was just everything you don't want in a coffee.
It tastes like a very dark roast.
Yeah, it's because it's so cold. You don't even taste that so much. It's just gone. That's why I think that's why it's plastic rather than burnt. You don't taste even the burnt, which is like I thought burnt was the lower standard, but we got cold burnt, which is licking the plastic lid would have been about the
more
same.
enjoyable.
So I probably should stop, shouldn't I?
All right, so I guess it's a 1 and a -4 from you.
Okay.
On to the next one. Now we are at Chevron. And some other interesting pieces here. So we've got Seattle's Best. Seattle's Best Medium Light Level 2. So it doesn't give us what it is necessarily. I will say that the machine that it came out of, it had a little indicator light for how full the machine was, which I was pretty impressed by. So it's got a little bit more care to it. I wonder if just being Seattle's Best, they require certain machines and that kind of stuff.
Often it's the case.
Yeah, so that's another interesting piece is Seattle's Best Coffee. So if you see some name brand stuff, like the last place we went to, Texaco didn't have cups with name brands. So there's less, they're doing it on their own kind of. So that's interesting. This one's very warm.
Just warm. We've got to 170 Fahrenheit or 76 Celsius.
Wow. So we've got a lot of temperature. We've got a lot of temperature here. A lot more than Texaco.
Yeah, we've gone from one extreme to the other.
So let's go ahead and pop the top on this. Let's see what we smell here. Careful, it's very hot.
Well, I'm not getting that burnt plastic I got the last place.
I'm almost getting like a fermentation, like a fermented smell to it.
Not strongly, but yeah. It's nothing unpleasant, I must say. I'm not getting ashtray. I'm not getting burnt plastic.
It smells way better.
It smells. I'm going to say it smells a little dark. It looks a little dark too. But
well, that's the other thing. They're, what are they calling medium roast? It's interesting.
I'm going to leave my cap off, let it cool down.
That's a good idea. So go ahead and test the temperature there.
Temperature going up. 152.
I think what's so hard about gas station coffee is they're obviously not dedicating. Like their primary service is not coffee. Their primary service is gas.
Yeah.
And this is a complimentary service in a sense. So their focus is not on the coffee.
Yes. It'd be interesting to have a gas station that it was their
a dedicated barista.
Yeah.
Or,
just imagine everyone would want to go to that gas station.
Yeah. Everyone that likes coffee.
159. So it's gone down
quite a bit.
It's gone down pretty quick actually, but it's still pretty warm, I'd say. 159. 70
if you don't hold it on the cup little protector piece here, it's pretty hot.
Yeah, your fingers will probably melt to the cup.
All right, let's go ahead and give it a little...
Okay,
it's a little hot, so take a small sip.
Yeah. It's still a bit hot for me, but...
I definitely get a little bitterness
that
to
bitter
it.
note, yeah.
It really sits kind of the back of my tongue. There's a bitter
it's
twang to it.
That's
about all I get.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking that bitterness you're talking about the roast did it say you said it was light.
Medium light.
Medium light. This seems dark to me.
It almost tastes like smoky bitter. Like if you were to suck on a piece of charcoal.
Yeah, I agree with you, unfortunately. Man, it's interesting going from the extremes from dead cold, the last one, to this one really just too hot for me to drink.
Yeah, because what is a optimal temperature for you to drink coffee?
I mean, you want below 165 at least, but 140 to 165.
What are we at now for? We're within that range probably now.
Not getting there. Still pretty hot to me.
Still
and I can tell because my taste buds are buzzing away here going, it's too hot on my tongue, which is then you're in danger territory that you won't taste anything.
Which is interesting because, you think about it, like if you're driving your car and you have way too hot a coffee, I personally, the car is the place where I feel like you have the most opportunity to spill it because you're moving around, it's tight quarters, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it's 153, so perhaps
So we're in that
I
range.
say 165, perhaps,
But you're
perhaps
on the top end of it.
155 to 140, perhaps I should be saying. Perhaps 165 is a bit high.
Right.
Because I wouldn't want to be tasting this at 165. This is 155.
But we're on the top end of that
Yeah.
range, at least. But
Now,
I would say this is like at the same temperature, similar, obviously, to the Shell. Has a little bit more. Has more flavor to it.
yeah, it's more flavour.
But it's not necessarily good flavor.
No, unfortunately, the flavour, we talk about fruity notes and things, you're not tasting any particular fruit. It's very muted.
Muddled.
Yeah.
When you really slurp it, you do get just a real bitterness.
Yeah, and it makes sense. That's why you slurp, so you can taste what it really tastes like. I'm thinking it tastes a little old to me. I think it's lost its edge. It may have been really good, a week after, 2 days after roasting, but it'd be interesting. I doubt they'd put the roast date on this.
No, there was no.
Yeah, and you're not going to do that probably in gas stations.
No.
And petrol stations.
Yeah. Well, that I guess leaves us one last thing.
Oh, right. Yes.
1 to 5.
I gave 2.5 to
2.5 to Shell, -4 to Texaco.
Oh, sorry, Texaco. This is roundabout very similar to the Shell. It's a 2.53 in there.
Really? Higher than the Shell almost.
Well, I said 2.5 to 3, but Shell. But yeah. Oh, okay. I'm thinking about this. 2.5 or 2 perhaps. Yeah.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give it a 3.
You're going up.
I'm going to go up, and here's the reason why.
Yep.
Because it's got a lot more flavor to it.
It has got a flavour that's.
I don't
not
know
just
if it's a good flavor, so maybe I shouldn't give it a 3, but I'm going to give it a 3 because I think that the flavor aspect of it is more, like there's more flavor than the Shell had. And someone might like
the Shell
that
was fairly mild, yeah.
Yeah, so this has a little bit more punch
Has
through.
something that you can specify and say, oh, I'm noticing this.
It's not good.
No.
It's not what I want, but I think that there's more in the cup. I think if I was going to drink any of these the whole day, it would have to be the Shell one, though.
Yeah, it's
almost just like drinking hot water.
Yeah, unless you like a little more, as you said, the bitterness at the beginning. This you'll know you're having a cup of what some people call a cup of coffee. I wouldn't call this a cup of coffee, to tell you the truth, which is really sad.
It is sad.
And if this is what the bulk of the population think a coffee is, then we've got thoroughly different definitions.
We've got more podcasting to do.
We do, Reed. We do. We've got to get some more education out there.
Yeah. Well, thank you for listening today. This is a little on the road episode. Thank you for checking us out. If this is your first time, I think there's a lot of good episodes we could highlight here that will help people understand.
I think you should go back to other podcasts and say, well, why are you saying these things about this coffee that I think is really cool? I'm saying go back to the other podcasts and you start getting a feel and understanding of, oh, here's the why.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. But yeah, feel free to send us a message or on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn even. Let us know what you think of gas station coffee, or if you have a gas station you think we should check out, if there's any good ones. We'd be interested to know.
It's interesting. At the end of this podcast, we've been just tipping out the coffee. It's interesting. The first one we had, that Ethiopia worker, that we made at home.
I miss it.
I didn't want to tip it out. I said, I don't want to tip this out. I want to drink the whole thing. But I realized we need to just,
we only have so many cup holders.
So much cup holders, and we don't want to get overloaded with coffee. We need to just make it easy for ourselves. But I wish I'd just kept with the worker at the beginning.
If you have any other ideas, share them with us, because this was fun.
I wonder what coffees are like at Disneyland. Perhaps we should be going to Disneyland.
Maybe someone will give us a trip to Disneyland.
There we go.
Anyway, thank you again for listening, for getting this far in the podcast, and we'll see you next week.